And thank you for the opportunity to talk a little bit about us, our port, and our view on the topic today. As a user and as a crane owner and operator in the west coast of Norway. As you mentioned and introduced, I'm a commercial director of the Karmsund Port Authority in the region of Haugesund, in the west coast of Norway, and I have almost 20 years experience from shipping and port operations, most in the container and project cargo, but also a little bit dry bulk and other use. And hence we have a multi-purpose port in the region. But this is us starting to introduce us and our company. We're a public company owned by the municipalities in the region. We're one of the largest port in Norway, but even though we're a public port, we're 100% self-financed. So we develop and work almost as a commercial private port. And we have big plans, especially for our cargo terminal, with investments plans for almost a billion NOK in our port, and I'll tell you a little bit about that later on. But this is what we do and focus on. We have a cruise terminal in the port of Haugesund. It's been developed the last years from 0 to almost 500,000 passengers a year. Not very busy at the moment, but hopefully the tourists will get back. We have a cargo terminal, which is also integrated with our fishery port, which benefits very good logistics in the ports and also for the fishery products, but also for other parts of the maritime industry, and the supply is there. As a port, real estate is something that we do. We have to develop both the warehousing, offices, other parts of the port. So we do have about 70,000 square meters of indoor facilities, both, as I said, port offices and warehousing. And one of those areas are the offshore and subsea terminal that we own and develop. That's Chillingøy. We have a PRS pool there, which is owned by Equinor and other oil and gas operators on the North Sea continental. They hold a contingency service there for up to 19,000 kilometers of pipeline for oil and gas on the sea bottom of the North Sea. So it's quite a good activity out there. We're into aviation actually also as a shareholder in the local airport. But of course, with the topic today, renewables and the project cargo is interesting, and that goes a little bit hand in hand, especially in our port where we have a wind operations and heavy lift in that section. As I mentioned, Haugesund Cargo Terminals in Husøy. That's where we have our cranes and our multi-purpose port. We handle container in this port. We handle ro-ro in this port. We have dry bulk, also some wet bulk, but most dry bulk. It's our fishery port, and it's where we do our project cargo. With our cranes, I can't tell you very much of a long experience of equipment life costs because it's only 2 years ago since we got our first Libra crane. But it was very important to us in selecting the supplier. And as I mentioned, we got our first Libra LHM 550 2 years ago, but already last year we ordered the next one. So we got our second one this last month, and we now have 2 cranes in this port. And it's no doubt about that these are state-of-the-art cranes. They have a high quality, and that's important to us also in equipment life cost point of view. Because if you have the high quality, both for spare parts and a crane in total, then we know that it will operate as a 24/7 port. The downtime is important to us. Downtime, sorry, and this is also one of the reasons why we chose Libra cranes in our port. Also, Libra is good at the green technology. Both our cranes are fully electric driven, in addition to diesel engines. But that's because also we had to have the option of diesel as well, because they're mobile and we're moving them around and with big operations all over the port. And there's a limit to how long the electric cables can reach throughout the port. But we try to do it to drive them as much as possible on the electric drive, because it has a big impact on the equipment life costs and the costs OPEX. So that's important to us. And I also like to add one of the reasons we've invested now in the Synchrotronic system, an unbelievable, fantastic system that we think, because we can utilize 100% of lifting twin lift with both cranes. So we can, instead of in twin lift operation, we can now do 308 tons with the 2 cranes together. So that's also a very good benefit, and it shows how Libra is a leading supplier in the technology with the cranes. And this picture here is actually just from this weekend. Is the GPO Sapphires that arrived from Thailand. And we did a modification there and a preparation for Sleipner, Herema's Sleipner offshore lifting, heavy lift, vessel that lifted this module just yesterday, actually. So the cranes did a very good job there and in that preparation. But Libra mentioned it in the introduction, but also the part where we can discuss and customize the cranes when we purchase them, but also in their lifetime, and that's both on a management level, but also on the operating level. Where our operators can talk to the technicians and has a continuously optimizing the cranes, and that also benefits the equipment costs and the life cycle costs of the cranes, and that's a very good focus we think that Libra has there, and which benefits us as a user. Talk a little bit more on where we are going. This is our future plans for for our cargo terminal. And these are where we think we will be within the next 10 years. And one of the reasons we think that is the offshore floating wind field of Utsira Nord is being established just a few miles west of us. So we need to develop and prepare for the offshore floating wind. That is a fast-growing industry in Norway, and will demand quite a lot area from us as a port. But these aren't just visions. These are financed plans that we will be working on for the next 3, 4, 5 years, with the development of the land in the sea. And of course, together with the key partners, we will see how fast we will need to build the key sites. But the area and the land and the industrial area will at least be there. And so we are ready for the big operations that will come in the near future. I'll also just briefly mention our Intelliport program, because that's important in this equipment life cost point of view. Intelliport is, as it says here, our concept for increased efficiency, new technologies, and more sustainable solutions. And in this point of view, especially the electric drive was important to us to do the zero emission commitment. Another part of this is, as a port, is of course the shore power and how we work with shore power equipment. We're now building a 12.8 megawatt shore power to the cruise liners. We have 4,000 megawatt, 1 megawatt for other vessels, and within 2025 we want to have shore power on all our key sites. And as I mentioned, in this point of view, Liebherr, with their philosophy, they meet our standards in choosing a crane supplier as well, with a fully electric drive. At the end, I would just mention we are committed to UN Sustainable Development Goals and focus on these 3 goals in the port of Karmsund, Port Authority, and the Haugesund region. Thank you for your attention.